Mississippi, summer 1964. The state became a proving ground for the thousands of black and white Americans who joined together to launch a single strategy, registering blacks to vote, leaving a legacy that forever changed Mississippi's and America's outlook on every American's claim to this constitutional right.
Their goal was simple, yet their tasks placed each and every one of them at severe personal risk. For the Magnolia State was known for its entrenched political, social, and economic systems that relegated its black citizens to second-class status.
Mississippi had the most difficult and the most complicated and the most discriminatory voter registration process in the country. Mississippi had literacy tests under which black people applying to register to vote had to fill out a very complex voter registration form without assistance.
You had to have paid 2 previous poll taxes. You had to be able to interpret any section of the Constitution to the satisfaction of the circuit clerk. Not were you right or wrong, but did you please him?
In addition to the legal impediments, there were also extra-legal impediments. Black people who attempted to register lost their jobs, were intimidated, were harassed, and in some instances were even killed.
So you had a system of state-run racism.
Mississippi funds and agencies indeed supported its segregation and discriminatory policies. In 1954, the Sovereignty Commission was formed by Governor J.P. Coleman to craft legislation that would block the school desegregation mandated in the Supreme Court's Brown versus Board of Education decision.
I think I know, and certainly you know.
He ran for governor on the promise that he would make it as difficult to integrate the schools of Mississippi as it would be to dip the Atlantic Ocean dry with a teaspoon. State Sovereignty Commission was clearly a criminal agency of state government, aligned itself with the Ku Klux Klan, the White Citizens Council.
The Citizens Council was formed by white businessmen to prevent integration, using private funds and public forums.
The Citizens Councils are dedicated to states' rights and racial integrity, to individual liberty, and to race relations based on common sense, not on the power politics of left-wing pressure groups. The Citizens Councils are primarily a means of mobilizing public opinion.
If you think about the 50s and the Supreme Court decision, you got an era of repression in Mississippi where they were systematically cutting down movement leaders. And then I think you got this transition to a government which was really run by the Klan and the Citizens Councils.
And very few blacks in 1963 and 4 were registered to vote. I think we probably, out of a population of almost 2 million blacks in the state at that point, maybe 5,000 were registered.
Freedom Summer had 2 basic goals. First, mobilize black Mississippians to register to vote. Second, educate them to pass the complex registration requirements. The strategy and details were handled by the Council of Federated Organizations, or COFO, a coalition of civil rights organizations functioning in Mississippi.
Mississippi had tied the hand of the black citizens of the state ever since the Constitutional Convention of 1890.
COFO chairman Aaron Henry was the Mississippi NAACP president. He formed his lifetime commitment to civil rights as a child when he observed the education that white children received.
They went to school 7 months, we went 5. And I can remember bugging my mama almost to death. You know, Mama, how come they get to go 7 and we can't go but 5? That was one of the early revelations of this whole thing to me. So one day she finally got tired of me asking her about it, and she called me and she said, "Look, Aaron," she said, "I want to know one thing, you my boy." I said, "Yes, sir." She said, "And you don't need but 5. They ain't smart as you, they got to have 7. So that you know, sort of sets your pattern for being as good as anybody.